friends, how you doing? I hope you all had a lovely Christmas. I really wanted to come on Facebook Live quickly before my family arrives. I've got my brother and his family arriving today, so it's going to be another busy day, but I thought I'd take this opportunity to share with you like a few things that has happened since Christmas Day. I'm not really too sure what's happening with this light thing on Facebook. It looks like I'm like got a bald head or something. I don't know what's going on there, but you just have to ignore it. Like, just think I'm like a little angel or something with like shining on top of my head. But anyway, if you haven't met me before, I am Mel. Hello, and I am an eating mindset coach, and I help people break free from their self-destructive eating habits so that they can learn how to eat naturally or normally without dieting, so that they can shed any excess weight they may have caused by their unhealthy eating habits, and then get to their natural slim self. Hold on a moment, my sister's screaming. My daughter. I'm doing a video. Okay, doesn't matter. I'm doing a video. I'll see you in 10 minutes. Okay, I tried to get the opportunity to jump on here without being interrupted. So if my family turns up, please be warned that I've got like kind of like a family that really tries to wind you up, so they might kind of face bomb or anything could happen right now. So I'm just like warning you just in case it happens. So anyway, why did I come on here today? Because as you know, I talk about everything about eating healthily and the problems that we have when it comes to our healthy eating challenges, because we are drawn to eating a lot of junk and sweet things like that. So I wanted to come on here to share with you the last couple of days. And the last couple of days I completely pigged out. Yes, so I pigged out for the last couple of days, and I want to share with you what happened. So let me get this straight. So basically these were kind of experimental actually, because I tried to pig out as much as I can, but the problem is, and it's not really a problem, the great thing is when you're so in tune with your body, it's really hard then to really pig out, because when you end up eating things that doesn't suit your body, you actually feel the effects almost immediately. So the last couple of days it was kind of half experimental and half I just basically decided not to manage my food, which is different to controlling food in a dieting mindset. So the first day after Christmas, I think it was the first day, or I think it's the day after Boxing Day. I can't keep up with the day. But anyway, the last couple of days, the first day, the reason why I didn't eat healthily was because the weather was really bad. And the reason why I'm sharing these things is because these are the typical things that usually a lot of people will probably find some of the reasons why they don't stick to their healthy eating regime or their healthy habits, because there is usually something that deters them from following through to their healthy let me just move this, it's really bothering me, my bald head. That's better. So I've got not a bald head, I've got like a white face instead. I can't get this camera right. There you go. So anyway, the reason I'm just going to go with bald, because I don't want to hold my camera actually. I just want to stand here and talk. So you're just going to have to make do. And so why did I do it? Because I wanted to really experiment to see what would really happen, because I've been so in tune with my body for so long that I kind of forgot really what it was really like to overeat. I know it sounds crazy, but it was. So like the first day that it rained, so I didn't go out for my jog. And the good thing, like I said before in my previous videos, the jog in the morning is a great way to start your good motivation going for the day. It kind of sets you up for the day. And when you do your exercise first thing in the morning, you're more likely to achieve everything that you want to do in the day, or your positive things that you want to do during the day. So that's why I really love going for my running in the morning. It's not really so much for being fit, even though it is recommended at least 20 minutes of vigorous exercise just to get the heart pumping, to circulate that oxygen around your body. But really it's good for everything. And there is a video on my Facebook page, all the good reasons why exercise should be incorporated into your lifestyle, because it's not just about maintaining your weight, it just has so many benefits. So I didn't go for my run on the first day of when I binged, and that kind of didn't set me up for success during the day. So I ended up over the course of the day just picking. I didn't prepare any great main meals, so we had like a unnutritious breakfast of just bagel and crumpets with jam and nut butters, which is not too bad, but like when you start off the day, not very nutritious. And then I didn't set up a good lunch because we got up really late, so we ended up just picking like a mince pie and whatever knickknacks was around. So, and it carried on like that for the next, like during the course of the day, and I ended up going to bed not feeling satisfied. I felt bloated. I felt a little bit sick actually, even though I don't think that I ate a huge amount of food. Hi Pramila, thank you for watching. So that was like the first day, and then the second day, again, like it wasn't as if I ate a lot, but it was a lot of the wrong foods. And what I noticed was the symptoms that I had was that the first time that I had something like a mince pie, or like the first snack, or the first, what would you say, like the first naughty thing that I ate, excluding breakfast, it tasted great. And that's what I noticed when I was like pigging out on purpose, was like the first thing that I ate, whether like a mince pie or whether it was like a piece of cake, the first one was always good. But then as the day went by, the more foods that I ate like that didn't feel as exciting, didn't feel as pleasurable as the first time. And do you know what it reminded me of? And I'm going to completely open up to you right now. It reminded me of my drug addiction days, where basically all I was doing is chasing coke all night. So the first time that, if you've never tried drugs, I'm going to share with you what it feels like to take drugs. And when I had cocaine for the beginning of the night, the first time is really a buzz. I felt great, but then shortly afterwards that buzz would completely come down, and I'd feel I didn't feel as good. So the rest of the night I would be chasing the coke, having more and more and more, but it just never felt the same as the first hit. And that's what I felt like these last couple of days. I was chasing that pleasure of that first goodie that I had. I can't remember what I had first of all, whether it's like the crumpet or the mince pie, but the very first kind of treat or sweet thing that I had was never ever the same when I had it all through the day. And in the end, I just didn't feel satisfied, because instead I felt nauseous. I felt a bit bloated. I didn't feel satisfied. I felt like I wanted to eat more and more and more, because I was kind of desperate to have that feeling. And even though I wasn't really desperate like I would do back in my eating disorder days, but it did remind me of the time when I used to binge out, because that was what I was craving for. I was craving for that feeling that I had when I had that first bar of chocolate, that first mince pie, that first whatever treat that I had first, and then for the rest of the time just chasing that feeling. But instead of having that same pleasurable feeling as I did the first time, I had a lot of negative feelings instead. So yeah, I as a result of the last 2 days, and I really did it for experimental only, and kind of also I just felt I'm just like going to leave it because I'm on holiday. Being indifferent to junk food doesn't mean you're never ever going to be tempted to eat junk food again. It just means that you're not controlled by it. And the thing is, even though I did this last couple of days experiment of like letting go of the breaks, it was nowhere near as what I used to do when I used to be in an eating disorder mind frame. I mean, I did, like, as soon as I didn't feel comfortable, which was kind of by the end of the night, just before I went to bed, I didn't continue. And that was the difference between now and when I had an eating disorder. Hi Andy, thank you for joining. So why did I binge? So first of all, yes, it was kind of experimental. It was a forced decision. I decided to do it just to see what it would be like, and just to be aware of the voices that was in my mind, that was coming through my thoughts. And when I'm experiencing it right in the moment, it's really easier for me to share with you what happens. And last night was like these boiled cashews, and again, this is nothing compared to what it was like when I was binging on an eating disorder mind frame. So last night was basically something that I was kind of experimenting. So there's boiled cashews. I had a handful, and I could feel myself thinking, shall I have some more? Yes, I'll have some more. And I felt the urges. And I knew I was not hungry. I just wanted it. And that's the difference. When you're truly hungry, there's never really that urge, that kind of force that wants you, that pulls you towards it. And then I remember like laughing to myself, because where I'm so aware of my mind and my body now, and I remember like kept just eating the cashews, and like, do you know what, I'm feeling sick right now, I don't think I should eat the rest. But then there was literally only a handful of cashews left last night, and I'm like, okay. And my head was like saying, well, you can't just leave that handful of cashews, can you? So I didn't. I just ate the whole lot. But these are the kind of voices that interrupts your mind when you're trying to, when you know these are not true hunger voices, because true hunger voices will not try to find justifications to eat. When you're truly hungry, there are no voices. You literally are just eating because you're hungry. But when you're having voices like kind of always justifying yourself, oh, go on, you know, you deserve it, you're on holiday, you could always, you know, it's okay, you've been good for the whole holiday, you've not eaten a lot of treats, go on, you can have one more handful. Or, oh, that felt so good, yeah, take some more. Or finish the whole bowl, you know, what's the point of leaving a few more? These are the voices of the unhealthy addictive mind. These are not true hunger voices. So that's one thing that I kind of thought it was quite funny and I was aware of. Another thing, when I went to bed, I didn't feel great. I felt really nauseous. I kind of felt really hot and really uncomfortable. So yeah, so going to bed, I didn't feel great because I stuffed myself the last couple of days. And even though it's nothing like not like a binge when I was on an eating disorder, but I had eaten a lot of not nutritional foods like mince pies, vegan cheese and biscuits, and crisps, and like nuts, and you know, all those things that are really great to eat every now and again, but just not to eat all day long. So I did feel really sick. And then in the morning when I woke up, and then there's I just felt, and that's why I you know, I just didn't feel motivated. But the next day I felt so tired. My whole body was so heavy. And then it was like really, really hard to get motivated because my whole body felt really lethargic. And then I felt my stomach, it just didn't feel good. And when I was running, I felt really heavy. So it's not great, these feelings. It's just not good enough. It just didn't feel great. So anyway, what did I learn from it? So what I learned is that yeah, it's when you start ignoring your true hunger cues, your animal, like the primitive brain, starts taking over and just making you feel like you need these foods, but only because you're trying to kind of compensate on that feeling of that feeling good. So when you're stuck in this cycle of trying to compensate on that first mince pie that you had, it's just when you're in that motion of eating and trying to catch up, it's actually just making you feel worse. And the good thing about it is that when you're aware of how that makes you feel, you can then use that as an anchor. So now I had the 2 days, well, not really, I could say like a day and a half, you know, because I just didn't feel good eating all that rubbish. So what I've done now is it's refreshed my mind on how rubbish it really made me feel eating all that junk food. So that when, like today, for example, I've got my brother and everyone coming over to have a family party, I will just remind myself how that felt like eating all that rubbish food, the sweet things, and to anchor my thoughts to the first one was great, but then how did that make me feel? How did that make me feel for the rest of the day? Do I want to feel rubbish again and again? Because it was only the first one that made me great. So even though I had those 2 days of pigging out, and you may have had those days of pigging out as well, it just, for me, I think it's a great thing because now you can use that as a tool to anchor those feelings, the bad feelings that you had afterwards, to try and set you on a great path going forward. So yeah, so anyway, that is my experiences over the last couple of days with me pigging out, and that is what happened. So now I'm kind of put off by eating crap, because eating crap food made me feel crap. And yeah, it was like chasing it the whole time, and I personally don't think it's worth it. There was more downside of eating rubbish food, and I'm not just talking about the weight thing. It was just the physical, emotional feelings that I had with it, as well as my physical strength as well. And you know, physical and mentally, it was really, really not worth doing that all day. So, but at the same time, when you just leave it to a treat here, a treat there, you can really, really enjoy it. Because like I said, the one that I really enjoyed the most was the very first one. So yeah, if you have to eat some unhealthy foods, just make it that special one, because when you continue to eat it all day basis, it's just not doing anything, you know. It's just like you're not making anything better. In fact, you're just setting yourself up for, you know, a really, really long disappointment. So anyway, I hope that made sense, and I apologize for my baldness in this camera. I did try to change the angle, but I hope that's kind of helped you in some way to put some perspective when it comes to being in parties and things like that, because it only is that first one that's going to give you that buzz. After that, it just doesn't get better. It just makes you feel bad afterwards. So on that note, I hope you enjoy the rest of your holidays, and I'm just going to keep on doing these random Facebook lives just to share some insights that might help you on your healthy eating path, and hopefully that will help with in your journey too. Okay, take care. Bye bye. Happy New Year.